Hey guys, what is up? Carter here. I got this beautiful Emerson CQC13 in the mail today. What a gorgeous knife. Bad ass, seriously. But point of this video is not going to be looking at this knife or doing a review on it. I'm going to do that later. What we're going to do is talk about new Emersons. Now, this is a very, very stiff knife right now. It needs breaking in to the max degree. But what I'm going to do is play with it a little bit, not in a naughty way, in a very gentle way. And then we're going to take it apart, and I'm going to show you something that's pretty interesting with Emerson knives, or at least that I find interesting, that I think you will probably find interesting as well on the inside of them. But before I do that, I want to make sure and get some openings in this thing. The pivot isn't too tight, so you know, it's just, this is how they generally are when you get them. They need a break-in period, and I'll kind of show some interesting stuff inside that kind of goes along with that. So let me shut the camera off. Man, lock up on this is just so early. Love it. Let me shut the camera off, and I will take this apart, and we shall take a quick look inside. Alright guys, we'll be back. Alright guys, here we go. Well, mostly. There we go. Take that off. Got the liner here. Here is the safe detent, as it's called. And let's go ahead and undo this screw a little bit more, because I did not fully unscrew it. So the thing about Emersons, while we're here, is the screws actually thread into the liner on the opposite side. So the screws coming in this side actually thread through the liner on the opposite side, just to let you know. This particular version has the double thick liners. And the thing that I wanted to point out to you guys, if you can see it here, I'm trying to see the best portion to look at it, is the initial lube. Sorry guys, wife busted in here. You can see that lube actually has little, like, well, that kind of messed it up, little copper flecks in it. Now I kind of theorize that what that's for is to assist in breaking the knife in. I mean, you can see how it's like, see that copper flecky type stuff? I could be wrong on that, but that's just what I'm guessing. I find it very interesting. But yeah, when you get these from the factory, it's going to have a very thick grease inside, and it's going to have kind of these little sparkly coppery flecks in there. So yeah, let me go ahead and get this cleaned up. I'm going to put a little of my standard lithium grease in there. I've had a few people talk to me about the lithium grease. You know, they say, have you tried silicone grease? And I have tried silicone grease. And silicone grease, whoa, jeez. Silicone grease is excellent, excellent stuff. In fact, I would recommend that above lithium grease. However, it is more expensive, and in my experience, a little bit harder to find. Just doesn't seem to be everywhere like lithium grease is. I mean, lithium grease is pretty just super common. You can get it cheap, and you can get it just about anywhere. So that's kind of why I like to use it. I'm not saying, when I was promoting it in the videos a while back, I wasn't trying to make it sound like that's the best grease out there by any means. But it's definitely easy to obtain, and very inexpensive, which I think is an important factor as well. Alright guys, I will be back in just a few minutes with this all nice and cleaned up, lubed up. Oh, these are the Nylotron washers here. And you can just do a quick search on Nylotron washers and it'll tell you everything you need to know about it. But basically they're kind of, they call them self-lubricating, but that's a little bit of a misnomer because they don't lubricate themselves, but they're impregnated with I believe it's a silicone. So they do have, you know, a very low resistance. I'm trying to think of the word, but I can't think of it. But you know, they have a very low kind of friction. They have a low friction point, so they're used a lot in pulleys and things like that because they're very strong and tough and they last a real long time and things like that. So that's why Mr. Emerson is such a fan. Alright guys, I will be back. Hey guys, well, I got her all lubed up, put back together. Here she is, a little bit smoother, still quite stiff though. And if you'll notice, even with the centering trick, it still is a little off center this way. Both those factors tell me that the safety tent, I hate saying that, the detent bar that's actually on this side on Emerson's is probably bent out. You can see it right there. Probably bent out a little far. It's a little strong. So it's pushing the blade this way and adding extra resistance to the blade upon opening. So it's not a huge deal and it's not affecting this knife all that much, but if I wanted to, I could simply take it apart again. I should have looked at this before. I could take it apart again and just kind of pop that in just a hair bit more. Emerson's are unique in that they have two detent balls basically, kind of somewhat counteracting each other. You've got the pressure of the lock bar coming in this way and then the detent coming in this way. Emerson's reasoning behind that is he just wanted to be able to adjust the lock bar tension and the detent independently. Whereas most knives, they're connected. You know, if you want to increase your liner strength, the lock bar strength, maybe it's worn out and it needs to be bent in more, then all of a sudden your detent will be stronger. If you want a really light detent, then you're going to have a really light lock bar. So his thinking was he wanted them independently. So you can adjust the detent and you can adjust the lock bar strength independently of each other. So definitely kind of a cool idea. It does create a few, not problems, but it adds a little more complexity to the design, and that's why you get things like, you know, your blade might not be perfectly centered, which is not a huge deal. But you know, when you know what it is and what's causing it and how to fix it, it's definitely not a big deal. I can say for certain that I just freaking love this design. This is a bad mofo of a knife, which is why I bought two of them. Other one hasn't came yet, but I bought this with a satin finish blade as well. Can't wait till that comes in. I'll have a beautiful, beautiful pair of CQC 13s. Alright guys, take it easy. Have a good night. Signing off. Later.